Intern and J. Stevens, watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
What is going on, Mike? The Intern, Jay Stevens, in the studio for episode 235 of Dark Side of the Stream.
We watch documentaries, so you don't have to.
That's right. And this week we picked something that's been on Max for a little while, but it was timely because when we decided to pick this documentary, the subject of the documentary had dressed up like a corrections officer and walked right out of prison.
He escaped jail, and he's right here in our backyard.
And he was down south of us. He was really close to us, actually. This entire story happens really close to us. But yeah, the guy was captured.
What's the name of the show?
It's Devil in the Ozarks.
Devil in the Ozarks.
But the guy in the time that we talked that we were going to do this, and now. He was found, and we'll get into how and all that stuff down the road. But it starts off with a sexual assault in a classroom in Northwest Arkansas in 1997.
Yeah.
Horrific story. A teacher's just there.
Gunman.
They're doing like a church service in the cafeteria. It's after hours. She goes to the bathroom, and when she comes out, there's a guy with a mask on, puts a gun on her, and assaults her.
Yeah.
And because this guy, and we'll get into this, had experience in how these things go as far as investigating and all this. He was extremely careful, so far so to not wear any shoes when he went in, knowing that they could trace his shoe size, the shoes he was wearing. So he's in socks.
Yeah.
And then something else that happened was the woman, after she was assaulted, decided to, because she had some stuff on her, wipe her leg off and wiped it on her shirt. Had she not done that, they may have never been able to retrieve DNA from this guy. But once they got all this stuff, her story was horrific. I mean, her and her husband, she was a teacher, he was a police officer, and then she's assaulted. Obviously, that would lead to their divorce because of all the stuff that they would go through. He was obviously, I'm sure, upset because he should protect her, couldn't. She went through everything, I'm sure, being a victim of this. But in the end, they would get the justice, and we'll talk about that anyway. Because after they thought originally that this would be pretty cut and dry because they had DNA, but the guy wasn't in the system.
Yeah. And
early on in the investigation, they felt that this possibly could be in someone in law enforcement because of what they were doing. The person who did this had a lot of information on how police do investigations.
Yeah, he kind of knew the procedure.
So this happens, and then the story kind of takes a turn, which I thought was interesting the way the producers did this.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike, the Intern, Jay Stevens, back in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 235. Devil in the Ozarks is the subject. You can watch it on Max. It talks about a guy who was convicted of sexual assault and or murder in the northwest corner of Arkansas.
Right down the road, man.
Have you ever been to Rogers?
Yes. Yeah.
I've been all these places that talk Gateway, all these places these guys are talking about, man. It's wild. It definitely. I had a really close friend of mine work for the Parks Department in Arkansas when she was doing her PhD, and there's a lot of separatists down there. And the rule was, if you were out doing your survey and you come up a sign that says "Do not trespass on our property,"
do not trespass.
They were like, turn around and do not even mess with it. So it's a wild place, and it's a beautiful place. Arkansas is absolutely gorgeous. If you're an outdoor guy like me, it is a wonderful place. But it's got some weird communities, if you will. And enter the community in which this man named Grant Hardin decided he was going to be a police, ended up being the police chief, ended up being a constable.
Yeah,
he was like the guy that took care of everything. He was the man
who took care of that town.
But according to those that knew him after he became chief, started to abuse that power. And that meant if you cut him off in traffic, he would hunt you down,
pull a gun on you.
Isn't that the type of mental stability you want in someone?
Well, they can't call the cops on him because he is the cop.
So what do you do when you've got someone going in and out and crazy? Well, it all came to a head when he was driving his cruiser around and I guess went through some brush and tried to do a U-turn or something, and in that brush there was a stump and it just completely destroyed the undercarriage of his vehicle. He then blamed the city utility worker, another man, that he needed to fix it, and that man was like, look, you're the one who drove in there, you're the one who needs to fix it, that's not my problem. And so there was some back and forth until one day Grant was on his front property working on something, saw the guy drive by, went and got in his car, chased him down and shot him in the face with a shotgun.
Dude.
Then another buddy just driving home, sees the two cars, gets waved by. As he gets waved by, here's a rifle, turns around, goes and sees his friend slumped over in the front vehicle, and that was the man who was the utility worker. And then the cop said, do you know who was driving the vehicle behind him?
I know where he lives.
I know exactly who it was. And then the audacity and narcissism of this guy to literally do this, go home, pick up his wife and child,
for dinner, right?
Take them out to dinner, basically tell him he loves them if he doesn't see them anymore and all this stuff, goes home, has to drive through the scene of the crime, which is now at this point a checkpoint. Police stop him. What are you doing? Hey, we're looking for you, buddy. And that was it.
Yeah, man.
But that was not it, because then as soon as they started doing the investigation and getting his DNA into the system, guess what? They had a match to a 1997 sexual assault, and then everyone involved in that got to get the justice they wanted. But it wasn't just over yet, because we'll talk about what happened down the line after this documentary next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens, back in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 235. We're doing Devil in the Ozarks, that talks about a man who was the chief of police.
A nice short documentary, too.
Yeah,
it was one episode.
Thank you.
It was so good.
45 minutes.
So good.
This is the kind of stuff
quick,
that
precise.
Mike brings to the table.
They didn't drain it out 5 episodes.
Didn't need to know anything. I just needed to know the facts, and they did a great job of delivering the facts in this case.
Speaking of facts.
So, again... The reason this documentary even came on my radar was someone that I'm friends with was like, have you seen this? This guy just escaped. And I was like, what?
And he could be in Springfield.
Yeah, they're like, he's out. Well, what happened was he gets sentenced, and at some point decides he's going to make a makeshift correctional facility officer's uniform, and then one day puts it on and walks right out of the jail.
Convinces them to let him out, yeah.
And they walked right out. Then they realize he's gone. Obviously, we'd been dealing with a lot of severe weather for the last few weeks. So the reason he was
time to escape jail.
They couldn't find him because of the severe weather, but also he couldn't move.
Hard time to stay alive
because of the severe weather. Inevitably, the dogs were the one who sniffed him out and got him. They were using drones and stuff, but he was out in the wilderness. I mean, it would be easy if you knew how to survive. It wouldn't be hard to survive out there in Ozark Highland. Oh no,
I would not be able to survive.
You would not be able to survive. You would be a dead man.
Yeah.
Or
you could do it. You could survive.
Hands down. And not only that, but I know that area.
Would you kill a bear with a knife?
I know that area so well that depending on where I was, I probably know where the water source is close to. I know where cave systems are close to me. Like if I was in a situation, all I would need was a knife.
On the run.
If I had flint, that would be awesome.
Can
but
we
really,
get somebody
knife,
to bankroll a Mike the Intern survival, and we'll just like stick you out there.
See how far I can go.
See how far you can go.
I mean, honestly, the starvation factor is going to come into it because
what would you eat if you were on the run in Arkansas?
Anything. I mean,
kill a bear with your bare hands.
If I could, yeah. If I was in the situation,
snake.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but dude, that's the thing. You could kill rabbits and you would still starve to death.
How do you catch them? They're quick.
Do what you got to do. Build traps. Throw things at them.
Wow,
I mean, there are all kinds of stuff. But again,
survivalist.
Like I said, you can starve to death if you're just eating rabbits because there's no fat content on them.
Yeah.
So if you were eating rabbits all day, even after a couple weeks of that, you could still die.
Could you find a cow?
Hopefully. You pilfered farmland, pilfered farm cow. I mean, if I have to do what I got to do to survive at that point.
Okay, so you're running around the woods, and then you like sneak up on somebody's land, and maybe when they're not home, run in there, start stealing some food.
If it's a question of dying, yeah, I would.
All right. Okay.
But again,
just in case I'm ever in this situation.
But if you're in that situation and it's been severe weather, that hampers you. Even if you,
it sucked with the rain driving around.
Even if you are a person that knows how to hide, the problem is if you're hiding in a cave and it's raining, guess what? That cave fills up with water. If you're somewhere low lying by a river, Buffalo River, for example, guess what? That'll jump 10 feet in just a matter of minutes. Oh yeah, hands down. I've had it happen. So that also hampers your ability to escape. Eventually, this guy would be caught, but while we were in the break, our very own producer, Magic Tyler, said that he had a friend that was neighbors with this guy. So for the first time ever, we're going to break the third wall. Tyler and Jay are going to switch places.
Tell us about this woman.
And Tyler's going to come over here, and I'm going to interview him.
Tyler, sit on my lap.
Dark Side of the Stream. So get over here.
Sit on my lap, Tyler.
Come on, Uncle Jay. You know what? Fine. Okay.
I'll sit on Mike's lap.
That's fine.
I'll see if I can
just get on this slide. No, slide to the. No, not that way.
Here. This way we're both on camera.
This is so awkward. So you have a neighbor that was friends with this dude, or what?
You're
gonna rip my
knew
pants.
This chick that said, yeah, she was from Rogers, and that I don't know if she was neighbors or she lived very close by.
Okay, again, now Rogers, Arkansas is a very small place.
Yeah.
It's not a big place. Any of these places they discussed in this documentary, like Gateway, like you're talking like there's a corner and that's the town.
When you drive through it.
So, did she describe him? Did she say anything?
Basically, I think people kind of knew this guy was pretty
weird.
Yeah, weird and bad guy.
Don't cross him.
That's the vibe I got from it. Yeah.
Did she have any specific stories or anything?
No, I don't think she ever had.
She just said, "Hey, I knew that dude," and that was it.
Basically, but like it was known that he was kind of a rough guy.
All right. Well, thanks for your help.
No problem.
Thanks, Tyler.
Good job, Tyler.
Riveting insight.
All right. He knew someone that knew him.
Here at the Cave, we have inside information.
That's what we give you here at 104.7 The Cave.
That's why we're award-winning radio hosts.
A Dark Side of the Stream. We'll be back with our reviews of this next on 104.7 The Cave. Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern, back in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 235, doing Devil in the Ozarks. I'd give it a straight up 4.
Yep, perfect 4. Yep, it was nice.
It was good.
It was almost too short. I was like, oh, that's it? Okay.
I know.
I was like, am I missing another part? But no. And yeah, it was timely because when we were going to watch it, the guy was on the run.
He was still on the run, yeah.
Over the weekend, the guy got caught.
Yeah, they found him. And now he's going to a Supermax. And
good luck getting out of there, I guess.
That's going to be a bad place for him because, again, anyone that does sexual assault that goes in for a long time, they're going to know what you did, and you're going to have to fight. That's just facts. Being former law enforcement in a Supermax, he's not going to have a good time.
No.
This sexual assault law enforcement, bro, it's not going to be a good time. Now, again, it seems like this guy was always looking for a fight anyway.
He'll find him.
So he's going to get exactly what he wants
maybe he's
in there.
Right, free food, get the fight. Maybe he's right where he wants to be.
I think he just wanted the power, ultimately. What a weird dude. What a weird story. What are we watching next week?
Another one that's weird. Netflix, Fred and Rose West. That might not be the exact title, but if you look Fred and Rose West, it was this couple in England that people started disappearing.
And she helped him and all that stuff.
Well,
yeah.
We don't know that until the end what happens or not. But yeah,
I know the story.
Pretty creepy dude.
Pretty creepy couple.
Well, pretty creepy dude, for sure.
For sure. Okay, we'll watch that next. As always, you can watch us do this live every Thursday at 9 a.m. on Facebook or YouTube.
Yep.
Play during my show at that time. Jay does it at 6 p.m., and then you can always download it as a podcast for free on a 104.7 The Cave app. I'm Mike the Intern.
Now 2% less teeth.
That's Jay Stevens. The winning smile. I wasn't going to say anything. The winning smile, Mr. Jay Stevens.
We watch
movies, so you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. You know what you should do while the credits are rolling? Just get real close and on
show
that.
Show my cheeks too.
Yeah, it's just
now 2% less teeth.
This is rock and roll. I was gonna tell you that picture that you.